Sup Bros?
Sup Bros? We're back at it again with podcast episode 2. So we're just gonna run with it.
Yeah.
Sort of just freehand it a little bit.
Yeah.
So I've just got like a few, I guess, categories that we can talk about. We did a little bit of talking actually yesterday because I wanted to talk about sports.
Yes.
So we were talking a lot about volleyball yesterday.
Yeah.
Which is good. We love volleyball.
Yeah. Volleyball is probably one of my favorite sports. Can be really fun, but also can be frustrating.
Yes.
But another good sport that I like is very underrated, ultimate frisbee.
Oh yes, you love that.
If I stopped playing volleyball, I would just do that.
Is there an ultimate frisbee team nearby? Do you know?
There's one at Flinders.
Flinders.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I would totally do that.
Yeah. I remember playing that in high school, and that was super fun.
Yeah.
You would pull off some like either awesome stuff, or you'd look like a complete unco and just be like, and,
yeah. You're like, I'm gonna grab it, and it's just like tink. You're like, no.
Just bounces off your fingers.
Okay, so with one of them, so it was one of the carnivals that I would play. Our school would enter, and one of my friends at the he wanted to kick the frisbee down because like he was trying to like stop someone
intercept.
Yeah, intercept it, and then he's just kicked it up, and it's just gone perfectly. Just perfect. It didn't flop. Again. It just went.
Yeah.
And then some other guy on the team caught it, and then they just won the point. And I was just like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "How did you do that? Why didn't you just smack it down?" He's just like, "No, look cooler."
Too hard.
So,
well, that's like when you like skim the frisbee off of like the beach.
Yeah.
On the sand.
Yeah.
And it's just like ding, or the water or something like that.
Yeah. You can do lots of cool stuff with frisbees. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, or like throw in cool ways as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
But yeah, so I don't know. Guess we'll go back to volleyball.
Back to volleyball.
We're both playing the same position at the moment, just in different teams.
Yeah.
And I guess we can talk about like what we're learning from playing, because we're both playing a new position this year essentially. Or I played a little bit of it last year.
Yeah.
But like what I was sort of saying yesterday is that the libero position for context is the like defensive position in volleyball. You do majority of the like passing and receiving sort of thing. And through my high school volleyball career, I was a passer hitter, which involves an attacking role.
Yeah.
So this year, what I've learned sort of like by playing the libero position is that it's so important, but no one wants to do it. And then once you kind of find someone that fits the position, it's really hard to get them out of that said position.
Correct. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and which is kind of bad for me because I was on a only offensive role playing middle, and then I got injured, so that means that I couldn't jump properly, so I just stepped into libero, and then now my knee's getting better, and then I was like, oh yeah, I'll play middle again, and I was like, oh wait, I'm the best passer on the team.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get any middle attacks if I'm not passing them.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's what we sort of talked briefly about yesterday, was that when you kind of take that step back from the offensive part of volleyball, it really makes you appreciate that offensive part, but then also appreciate how much hard work has to go into everything to then set up the attack.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, the pass has got to be somewhat good, so then the setter doesn't have to be under too much pressure to be able to put the ball in the right spot for the attack.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very fun part of the game. I find like my attack has improved from kind of watching other people attack. If that makes sense. I can say
that.
Yeah, because a lot of the time you see people like either getting caught underneath the ball or running too close to the net, and then it kind of it stuffs up all the hard work, all the previous hard work.
Yeah.
But it's always like, I don't know, it's always a good challenge for me. I always get kind of like razzed up when things are just not right, if that makes sense. Like if you just concentrate or focus that little bit more, it'll all come together, sort of thing.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah, and so it's funny because even as a libero and someone gets a kill and I pass that ball and it was perfect to the setter to then the hitter, I'm like, that was me. That wasn't you. That was me. And I get like really hype about it.
Yeah, same. When it's just like perfect pass, you like don't really have to go too far out of your way to achieve it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, that was just all muscle memory, skill stuff.
Yeah.
And then the setter does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not too hard for him. He just like, executes the skill.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, kill. And then you're like, that's volleyball.
Yeah, we just played volleyball.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, that was quite fun. Yeah, but so volleyball is most definitely a team game. And so you can have a good individual team, as in like each individual player is good. But if they don't work together as a team, then it kind of falls apart pretty easily.
Yeah.
Because like you could have an average team, but they've been playing together for like years and they know exactly like what to do in certain situations. They all each know each other. But if you just have a bunch of good players and you're like, yeah, go play volleyball,
they're probably gonna suck.
They're probably like they're not gonna do everything like as good as they want to.
Yeah, because you kind of like, because of how fast paced volleyball is, you can't be unsure when doing something.
You need to know that person's going to be there. And if you're playing like years with them, you know that they're going to be there.
Yeah.
Or you know that they're not going to be there, so you set someone else.
Yeah, there's like patterns of play with volleyball that they don't happen, I guess, like exactly the same way every single time, but there's variations of the same thing. Like if you're cross-court defense and then someone hits cross, there's not going to be the same hit every single time. But the concept's the same.
Yeah.
So then you're basically just like popping the ball up, and then it's different variations, like seam-wise. So if you're next to someone defending cross, and you've played with them for years, and you know that every time the ball goes to their left, they make a dig.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to think about it. You don't have to then chase the ball across your own body or theirs.
Yeah, because you doubt. Like if you haven't played with them and you doubt them, and then. Because that's what I'm finding that I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah, well, you've got... So, your team at the moment is a bunch of sort of new guys that haven't really played together.
Yes.
So, there's a lot of that happening.
Yeah, and I'm finding it difficult to trust some of my players because they're a bit newer.
Yeah.
They're a bit, like, unsure. And I'm just like, I know that I can get this. And I'm running, like, halfway across the court to get a serve that I saw that was coming to me. But then it's just to drift it. I'm just like, yep. Goodbye.
Yeah. Like, I'm super greedy as a libero, but then when you play with someone new, you always have that, I don't know, percentage of doubt where you're like, I don't know. And you hesitate.
Yeah.
All right. Volleyball, we could chat about volleyball all day, really.
Yeah.
Because we watched, like, Hawaii and... we sort of kind of did beach last year. I reckon we might do it a little bit more this year.
Yeah, I'm definitely keen on it this year.
Yeah, which will improve us even more because beach is freaking hard.
Beach is very hard.
Yeah. So then we'll just practice at Porties and stuff like that. Then
well, now that, because that came in like a little bit, like it wasn't
at
fully...
the start of the year. We talked about it in the first podcast, I think.
Yeah.
We talked about... Did we? I don't know. I can't remember. Oh, well.
Yeah.
All right. We'll move on to some nerdy stuff. We're probably just going to geek out this podcast on topics that we really enjoy talking about.
Yeah.
So, computer games or gaming in general. What games are you smashing out at the moment?
I've too many backed up. It's a lot because I'm doing uni. I'm just like, yeah, I need to do uni. I'm like, but I want to play video games. And then I'm like, I want to play video games with my friends. Then I want to finish these video games because like I've started Doom. I've started Witcher 3. That's gonna take a while.
Yeah, I'm on the exact same page. Like, I want to sit down and dedicate a fair amount of time to Witcher 3 because I've heard so many good things about it. And I think I heard Robbie put like, I don't know, 200 or 300 hours into Witcher 3, and it's like, what do you mean? That's so much content.
Yeah, legit. And like, I've also been replaying The Last of Us because I want to play the second one, but I got to like refresh my memory. Yeah, and there's just like a couple like PS4 games maybe, and then there's like new games that are coming out.
we still need to play Destroy All Humans, the remake.
Yep,
because that came out at the end of July.
Yeah, and definitely need to play that.
I reckon that is going to be so much fun to be able to just sit there and record. That's a throwback and a half of the both of us. We freaking loved playing that game growing up.
Yeah, definitely. And I've been smashing out Risk of Rain 2 because that got a new update.
Yeah, that's right.
Full release, and I just love the shit out of that game. It's just good. Yeah, and then I've been playing Fall Guys with my friends as well. That's just a new game that everyone's playing at the moment. Might use that for some clickbait.
Hell yeah. It's relevant, so...
Yeah, relevant.
Relevancy. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. My gaming habits have actually changed a lot in the last, I don't know, year or so. I'm not necessarily playing any, like, multiplayer games. Like, I used to play a lot of League and... Mordau and just like competitive fun games like that, but I've found myself moving towards more strategy games. So like Northgard, fun as Viking, sort of like role based.
Yeah, that's been pretty
turn based sort of game. Survival games, kind of like how did I describe it? It's like Age of Empires, sort of with like, I don't know, Vikings theme sort of thing. Like the second Age of Empires, not necessarily the first or third.
Yeah.
And then Total War Warhammer 2, which is a massive game, but
that's a huge
definitely recommend, like, if you can commit to getting past the learning curve, then you have a very fun time and you lose a lot of hours playing that game.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, just too many video games.
And then the PS5's coming out at the end of the year.
PS5's coming out, new Spider-Man game, all the new PS4 games that are going to come out. But, so what would be your favourite genre of video game?
Genre would definitely be, I don't know, sort of like strategy games. Yeah. It would have to be strategy games. That's what I've personally enjoyed the most, because it's, you have to think. It's not necessarily like, do this, or like killing people or anything like that, or just like bettering.
Alright, so I would say mine, I get the most enjoyment from horror games, and like, because it has to be done like right to have like full engagement throughout like the whole game. Because like, if you have just like a couple jump scares, then you're like, oh, and then it just goes away. But like, if you have a constant state of just
anxiety,
it's just like, after like I stop playing a horror game, I'm like,
shooketh.
I'm just like, oh no, I'm gonna die 100% of the time.
That's like
And I have an idea for October, Spooktober. Just play a bunch of horror games.
Yeah, that
in the
sounds
dark,
good.
and just have a couple mates come over, because I've got Resident Evil 7.
Yes.
VR.
Yeah.
I've played it. It's scary. I'm horrified of that game. Like, because I haven't continued, because I remember last time I like walked around a corner and there was a jump scare, and I was just like, done. I'm done.
Just throw it on the floor.
Yeah, no, it was not. It was enjoyable, but I like being scared. But that's just me.
Yeah. That'd be super fun to do. Kind of semi sort of update. Like, my brother's going to be moving into my house. Currently, we're located at our parents' house.
Yes, this is where we're recording.
Yes, and I'm away.
He's like 5 minutes.
5 minutes away. It's not that far.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have our own space, so that's gonna hopefully be able to open up heaps of opportunities for different recordings, like VR.
VR, definitely.
And hopefully a better sort of look out for the podcast. That'll be the goal.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Definitely.
Yeah, so that's all exciting. Hopefully that's
all new things happening.
Yeah, that's going to happen in like 5 weeks, I think. It's very close, 4 or 5 weeks.
It's a month away.
Yeah, a month away.
That's
so,
insane.
and I remember it feels like, I don't know, like 2 minutes ago I was saying it was 6 weeks away or
Yep.
8 weeks away or
Yeah,
something like that.
It's moving real quick.
Yeah, it's happening very fast. Well, 2020 is happening very fast.
Yeah, legit though.
Yeah, so we can talk about what's been happening this year, sort of like outside of us.
Oh, yeah?
Just like around, like obviously COVID's been an issue.
COVID has been a huge issue. Well, it has kind of.
It has and hasn't.
It has.
We're very lucky in Australia, in Adelaide, Australia,
South Australia.
Very, very specific.
Yeah, because we're like a little place.
We're a big local town.
Yeah,
like a big small town.
The city is just not a big city.
No,
compared to like what I've seen.
No, and then when you're walking around, there's just like there's some people around, but it's not like
it's not crowded.
No.
Yeah, because like it's affected volleyball.
It essentially affected everything.
Yeah,
to some degree.
Yeah,
I had to stop work for a month, which is very lucky in hindsight because I could have either lost my job or not had work for way longer than that.
Yeah, definitely.
And it stopped volleyball for a good 3 months.
Yeah, that was a bit rough.
I
just wanted to play volleyball.
And gyms and stuff as well.
Yeah, and gyms, so we can like do a gym routine or anything.
Yeah.
We're just trying to do shit at home.
Which is, I don't know, just super... It can be super difficult.
When you don't know what you're doing.
Well, not when you don't know what you're doing. When you're used to having that external place to go to work out.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of... I find it easy to get razzed up if you're going somewhere. Like, just put on a bit of loud music. Or just like...
Yes.
Yeah, like, you get in the zone and then you just... Once you're there, you kind of put in the hard work and then you can go home and relax. But then if you're in your home already, it's hard to kind of razz yourself up to then do a workout and then razz yourself back down to then relax.
Yeah. It was a bit weird because like I would kind of find because I was doing an intensive at that time as well, and I was just like I'd go on the computer for like 5 hours because I had to do like a practical, and I'd be like, oh, I kind of wanted to work out today, and I'll just be like, I don't want to do that.
yeah, it's so hard. Well, good way to move into like uni because uni was changed dramatically because of COVID.
Yeah, that was
so between sort of March and April, everything went online. It was like you couldn't go into uni.
No.
You had to sort of like motivate yourself to learn, which I think we didn't really have any issues with. But I did speak to a few of my uni sort of like colleagues, and they said they were very much struggling with that self-motivation of because there's nothing else to do. They're just like, I'll do everything else before doing uni work. Where we were sort of the opposite, I guess. Like we'd do uni work first, then do the things that we wanted to do.
Because I also had the same thing. Like I had people that I would talk to that would be like really struggling to do uni work, and I was like, I'm actually finding it easier.
Yeah, 100%. It's
because like I would just be like, all right, go on the computer, do what I need to do, and then play video games.
Yeah,
that's what we would do.
Yep, 100%. It was good in the sense that, like, with that transition to online learning, because I think that's where education's sort of heading towards. That is, there's going to be way more online content rather than having to then go to school. There'll be the option to go to school, but I think there'll also be the option to stay at home and do self-driven learning.
Yeah. But like, are they going to cost the same?
Yeah, that's going to be another issue entirely. Or it's like...
Because I was also wondering, like, yes, things are getting more expensive, but then they're also getting, like, they're getting less inclusive in terms of, like, learning. So, like, that whole like semester of online learning, it costs the same as like going into uni, using all their services, using all that.
But you're
And,
at home using your own resources. You're like,
it's just like,
should I be spending, I don't know how much it ends up being, but like 40 to 60 grand for a degree when you can kind of do it all by yourself at home
Yeah.
for a significantly less amount of money?
Yeah, they just because some topics worked really well,
Yeah, I 100% agree with this.
and then some didn't.
yeah. And it also
And just old people on computers
Yeah.
trying to work like
it really
collaborate
depended.
and
Really,
just-
for me, it depended on the teacher and how willing they were to adjust the content to be able to apply online.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I think that shook a lot of teachers at uni. Some adjusted really well, and some others were just like, okay, so then basically we take all the content that we would do in class and just do it online. And it's like, no,
It doesn't really work like that.
no, the engagement's so different online. You
Yeah.
nearly need to be a sort of like a stand-up lecturer. Like, you need to have a bit of a personality, or like a little bit like
Something
well,
to
not a little bit more, way more engagement with the actual class itself, instead of just being like, I'm just gonna talk for 45 minutes to no one.
Yep. I'm gonna not engage with anyone. I'm just gonna
Talk the lecture notes to you.
Yeah, just gonna read them out
Like, and
in the
and-
most monotone, boring voice.
Like, that happens even when you do, like,
Even in lectures.
in lectures, some lecturers are like that and they're not engaging at all, which is very frustrating, because I'm studying to be a teacher. So when I see that sort of stuff, I'm like, they're
in a
kind of,
teaching degree.
yeah, well, I'm doing a science and teaching degree.
Yeah.
A lot of the times it's to do with the science, because you've got specialists that they hire to teach, and they don't necessarily know how to teach.
They just know their topic.
specific
Yeah.
topic. So then the uni is kind of expected them to, I don't know, just basically teach us what they had been taught, sort of thing. Like, adjust it here and there, but I would say that the curriculum maybe adjusts maybe 1 or 2% every year. That's the only thing that changes, instead of like a decent amount of it.
Yeah. Which is interesting.
To keep
as
up
well.
with the new information going around, sort of thing. Because, like, if you think about all of the sciences, biology, chemistry, geology, like psychology,
all things are changing like all the time.
yeah, the research that's coming out with all of these topics, there's constant papers being released of like breaking sort of the paradigm of what we think
Is truth.
is true.
Yeah.
Especially in like physics as well.
Oh yeah. That's
Like-
just a whole new ball game.
Yeah, like, I was watching a video, I can't remember specifically how to say this guy's name, but it was like Nissan, it started with a V, but I can't remember saying how to say his last name. I'll hopefully put it in the description, but he was essentially talking about using like shifting gravity so we can travel.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So instead of having, because of how
That's like a superpower.
yeah,
That's
because
a
of
superpower.
how and it like how much energy it costs to use rockets,
Yeah.
we need a more effective way
to travel
essentially. And he was
through,
saying
through the universe.
yes, and the new understanding of physics that he was proposing was that we'll be able to sort of tap into shifting gravity with sort of
That's insane.
high velocity, I think it's like a metal, I can't remember specifically what it is, but a high velocity metal produces and affects the gravity field.
Damn. That's
So if you
sick.
get something spinning fast enough,
Yeah.
it makes not necessarily anti-grav, but it will shift it.
Yeah.
So that's controlling gravity.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's
So
really
then
cool.
he was saying that like what might end up happening. Do you remember in the Marvel movies? I think it's in Captain America, where Tony Stark's dad, Howard Stark,
The arc reactor?
no, not the arc reactor. He shows a car that hovers.
Oh, yeah.
It'd basically be like that.
Yeah.
With
Okay.
like sort of like gravity things instead of wheels that move the car.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that might also help like car travel as
Yeah,
well. If
yeah,
people
like
do-
reduce emissions. Like if you think about if we could tap into shifting gravity, I don't know what energy that would require, but if we're moving away from burning fossil fuels and moving towards a more effective energy source.
Yeah. Because at the moment, the most effective one would be solar power, I think. In terms of like, if you want to use a car, it would be like solar power, like the Tesla, or like electric. So that converts like solar power to electric.
Yeah.
Or like charge. You gotta charge it. But if you were to use gravity, which I'm pretty sure you don't need to like put anything into gravity. Like you don't need to put more energy into gravity because it's just a natural thing.
Yeah.
That you don't, because like
the understanding of the physics is going like.
Yeah. Yeah. We're hella lowballing all the intricacies of
details. This. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I'll leave a link in the description so you can go suss it out yourself and make your own mind up. That's the goal of whatever we talk about as well. Hopefully we'll provide resources so you can go explore and make your own mind up, because we're just lowballing a lot of things here.
Yeah, just a discussion.
Start food for thought. I like to start through food for thought.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, very nerdy stuff. This podcast.
Yeah,
just physics.
Physics. Well, if we talk like get on about talking like biology and psychology, we'll just nerd out hard.
Yeah, that'd just be a whole new podcast.
Yeah. Well, the thing I wanted to talk about as well, I've kind of had like a different perspective on learning, because the more that I think about it, all of the probably the most valuable things that I have learnt within my life that have helped me operate more effectively in the world, I've learnt outside of school, either through experience or through self-driven learning, because that self-drive
so outside of school being uni
and school, like high school.
Yeah, okay.
Even though, like, as a kid, obviously, growing up, you're constantly, like, your brain's so malleable, you're being constantly affected through high school. But I've found that the skills and behaviors and ways to operate in the world, the best learning that I've done has been from finding it outside of the education structure.
I feel like with the education, it's really like, it kind of like babies you a little bit. Like it doesn't, you don't want to put someone in the deep end and then them be scared to like go out into the world. But like I feel like it a little bit too much. Like it just babies you.
It tells you exactly what you need to learn, and then if you don't learn that, it's a reflection of how then you operate in the world, which is completely untrue.
Yeah, that's false.
Yeah, because so many like successful people ditch the education system. Like, well, I can do it by myself.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make money this way.
Yeah,
like,
and then they do.
I don't need to do all this stuff. But like, if you have a goal that you want to achieve, that's like, say, like a degree in science or something else, or like teaching. Yeah, it's best to go through like school and uni, because I feel like it's very hard to not, like, if you want to get into that sort of stuff, if you don't have a uni degree, or like if you pass year 12, that sort of thing, it's kind of difficult for people to be like, oh yeah, I trust him to teach the kids.
I think that's definitely the case in Australia at the moment, but from what I've been learning online and how the world's sort of changing with its view on education, that's actually shifting. A lot of high like billion-dollar companies are not necessarily looking at degrees anymore, because if you think like the way that I think about it is the degree doesn't necessarily how effective you would be in the very complex, multifaceted job that you would have to undergo. Like, unless you're working by yourself and you're an introvert and it's like the perfect job for you, most of the time you're going to be working with other people. So you could be the best in your field,
Mm-hmm.
but then if you get pissed off talking to people all the time,
like if you
and that's your
refuse to
job,
work with people,
and that's your job, or if you've smashed your field, but then you haven't developed any other areas of your life, then you're not necessarily like gonna do that job to the best of your ability, if that makes sense. Like if you're too specialized, because life is so complex, you need to be able to, I don't know, like have good mental health to be able to work at a very high performance level. But if you've only worked like your ass off to be a high performer and haven't worked out your mental health, as soon as you get put into a high stressful situation, you can't handle it.
Yeah,
and that's what like a lot of people sort of experience. They go, I want this much success. Oh, sorry, this much success.
Out of frame.
Out of frame. Yeah, I want this much success, but I'm only here. So when I move up to that success, I can't handle it, and then I break down, and then you sort of go back to what's comfortable.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think like, for me, wanting to be a teacher, I don't necessarily agree with the education structure at the moment, because I believe as a teacher, you've got to be a catalyst for learning.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of more of a parental like look at learning, where a student should be able to have the freedom to be able to go with their interest in the learning, and then the teacher is there as a guide.
Mm-hmm. Rather than the teacher being like,
you have to learn this.
Yeah,
you have to learn this curriculum and this very specific stuff, even though
you're not interested.
You're not interested, or it's becoming more and more obsolete in the application of life at the moment.
Yeah.
Because if you think about the like fundamentals, like in maths and stuff, we probably don't need to teach to the extent that we do at the moment.
Yeah.
Not to say that math isn't valuable. It's just that we've got phones in our pockets that does the math like that.
Yeah. So
and you're not going to sit there, like, unless you're wanting to, you're not going to sit there and do the math in your head, because it takes too long. We've got the machine assistance.
Yeah.
So it's more about how you are about problem solving, and then interfacing and expressing yourself through technology, because obviously there's, instead of writing, there's typing, instead of like calling, there's messaging and all that sort of stuff. So it's about your way that you interact with technology and how effective you are with manipulating that to get the best or the quickest result, essentially.
Yeah, I can say that. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely food for thought in terms of say if you're like a parent as well, and you're like, because I feel like as a parent you're also trying to teach your kids stuff.
Yeah. Well, and
I don't know, but like, I'm just guessing.
I had a thought about this the other week, where I was like, so I want to be a teacher. And then I was like, if I have kids, hypothetically, would I want to send them to school, or would I want to teach them myself? And I was like, I would probably want to do the latter. I would want to teach them myself, because if I'm a teacher, then I should be able to teach them to some extent. Yeah. I would have more faith in my own ability than sending them to a school, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because unless the education structure changes, I don't necessarily believe my kid at the end of their education experience is going to be any better off than if I was to be teaching them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I could say that,
because
definitely.
it's a cultural thing where
everyone
send their kid to school.
Yeah.
It's a cultural thing, and like the education system was developed in the industrial age for industrial age people. We're in the information age.
Yeah.
We've got to go about education and how people operate in the world completely differently. And for me to go into the education system, I would constantly be sort of contending with existing structures, being like, hey, can I change this? Hey, can I do this differently? And it would be constantly sort of like looking for approval in that regard.
Yeah, you'd be definitely fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah, constantly. So, leading on to that, I
would probably still... I would probably still put my kid into school because, like,
It really depends on you as an individual parent and
Yeah.
your skill base. Because if you're a teacher, you may, not to speak for you, but you may have that same sort of thought process.
see, the thing with school also though is that it's a new environment where if the kid is like if your kid is just at home and you're teaching them certain things, they're not gonna get the same experience because there's kids in there.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna need to learn the social
The-
structures
yeah.
and the different things that they need to learn, how to be socially, like,
How to operate in the world
yeah,
by
Which-
themselves outside of their parents.
yeah,
I completely understand that. So leading on from that, I think what I want to do with my goal with education, because I've done a few writing exercises to kind of suss out where I want to go.
Yep.
Because the more that I think about it, the more I'm not necessarily agreeing to the pre-existing structures. I would want to
yeah,
deviate a bit and sort of like change
yeah,
what's going
yeah,
on.
yeah, no, I see that.
So like at the end of my uni experience, possibly having a business venture where I develop my own education space. So it's not necessarily like I would
okay.
homeschool my own kid. I would have my own company, business, education space
Okay.
where
Alright.
I've got not like control, like overwhelming control or anything
Yeah.
like that, but just have way more freedom
Yeah,
to
I
be
can see
able
that.
to explore different styles of education and
Yeah.
what's best for learning.
Oh yeah, is that a thing?
What do you mean?
Like, no.
You can you do that?
Yeah.
Well, funny you say that. On YouTube, I've found a company that has essentially done that, but it's I wouldn't like copy it or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
But I've seen something similar done in Malaysia. So there's this guy called Vision. I've just read his book.
Yeah.
Vision. I'll link it down. He has created essentially similar sort of premise.
Yeah.
A company called Mind Valley, and he essentially does talks with very influential and successful people, and sort of breaks down their behaviors, their beliefs, their thought patterns, and he's done that with so many different people that he sort of has taken the similarities from each of the patterns of frameworks that successful people have displayed.
Yep.
And then he's teaching
That.
essentially.
Is that online?
Yes.
Okay.
It's online. There's like a free program that you can do. There's
Yeah.
like paid programs that you can do.
So, and then again, there's a problem with the social aspect with that. Like, yeah, you can learn as much as you can online, but if you're doing that with like online, but I'm guessing you want to do yours in like a building or something.
Well,
like,
so what he has set up, he's got essentially a space where he does talks, like lectures where he chats with people, and it's like an auditorium where people come and sit down and take notes and learn. It's like a lecture theatre, essentially, like a big ass lecture theatre where he talks with people.
Yeah.
And then there's the online aspect where it's recorded.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So it's like for the people that have the resources to go, they will.
Okay.
And for the people that have the resources that can't go,
online.
They will learn it online.
Yep. Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Because the current way that we learn, I think, isn't the best way we learn, where a teacher tells you exactly what you need to know.
And then you get tested on it.
What you can remember from exactly what you need to know.
Yeah.
Because exactly what you need to know is constantly changing, especially with the rate of change that's occurring in the world at the moment.
Yeah.
What you need to know is constantly expanding.
Yeah.
So unless the education system keeps up with that constant expansion, it's already shown it's obsolete in that
in that aspect.
You talk to anyone, you go, how was your high school experience? Most people go, I don't know what the fuck that was.
Yeah, I could say that, yeah. And, like, some people don't even complete high school, and then they're doing fine in life. It's just like, oh, okay. But then there's some people that just don't give a fuck.
Yes.
And then, but that could be because of mental health reasons or
how they were
how they're
grown
raised.
up, like what fundamental values had their parents instilled in them.
Yeah.
Like, did their parents value learning and instill that into them? Because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. If parents don't value the learning process, then and they think their development has ceased, then they're going to instill that value in their kids.
So,
unless they're aware of it.
Yeah, and then those kids are just going to be like, oh, I don't need to know this.
Or they finish high school, or
they
don't, and then go, I'm done as a person or a human.
Yeah.
Like, this is it. Take me how I am, world. And it's like,
no.
Boop. Oh, I just want to pop my head off with those people.
I just don't want to think. No.
No. Done with that thought.
Yeah. That's quite interesting to think about. Do you want to move on?
Yeah. That was. Yeah, I think that's a good sort of full circle on the education topic.
Yeah. Bit into uni life.
Yeah, a bit of 2020. There's, I guess, like, I don't really want to talk about like American politics or even Australian politics. I'm just not.
Yeah. No.
I don't subscribe to politics or even just like news and reality show. Even though Beth freaking gets me to watch like Bachelor and stuff like that. But
that's kind of just like to her. That's kind of like us watching like just YouTube.
Yeah.
It's completely like it's the same but it's different.
It's so different. It's so very, very different. Like, again, it's sort of cultural where it's like, watch the news, watch reality show, watch free-to-air TV, and that's what you do after you finish your 9 to 5 work.
Yeah.
It's like the cultural subscription.
Yeah.
It's like, and then after your dinner, you go to bed, and then you wake up, go to work,
yeah.
do exactly the same. Rinse
thing.
and repeat, get to the weekend, get drunk, recover, have a hangover on Sunday, rinse and repeat, do it again. It's
all
like,
playing D&D.
yes. Ah, damn, our D&D Sunday sessions, the last 2 especially, I have enjoyed so much.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it's so hard to explain. Definitely spoke to Brody, our dungeon master, so we're moving on to D&D now.
Yeah.
I was speaking to Brody like two weeks ago. I was like, it's so hard and it's a little bit trivial to try to explain to someone that's outside of what we're doing.
Yeah. That's like Tessa. She was like, oh, how did D&D go? And I was like, yeah, it was good. And they're like, oh, what did you do? I'm like, I can explain it if you want. She's like,
don't. I don't want to hear it.
And then Dad was like, did you win? Are you winning, son? And I'm just like, don't win. Really?
You just play.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
just
like...
the full
yeah, well, Amy's the same with me. She's like, yeah, you enjoyed D&D? And I'm like, yeah, I had a really good time. But then it's like, if I go into any more detail other than I had a really good time, she's going to be like, you lost me.
Yeah, like... And I tried explaining to Tessa how it worked just a little bit. And she was just like, I don't understand. I'm just like, it's fine.
Yeah.
You don't need to unless you want to get into it.
Yeah, 110%.
Just know that I do it.
Yeah. Well, the last 2 weeks, so we've got a group. It was a band of 6 people.
Norse Force.
Norse Force. That's what we're called. So we've got Callum, who's Cow, Robbie, who's Ulvig,
yep.
Caden, who Ugdug.
The orc, the half orc.
You are
Yorm.
I'm Shorma, and Macca is, what's Macca's character's name? Siegfried. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's 7. We got 7. But it varies. Some people can't make it each week, so the group sort of varies here and there.
Yeah.
But the last 2 weeks, we've sort of just been preparing a siege, essentially, against this castle that's protected by this undead warlock or necromancer or something.
He brings the dead back to life by like cursing land. We think that's
Yeah.
my hypothesis.
Yeah, that's what we don't.
We
know.
don't know yet.
We don't know the details of it all because that's ruins the fun.
Yeah,
that's not
like,
the point of the game.
If Brody just told us that, then it was just like, oh, cool. We didn't need. Alright.
Yeah.
There's no like investigation. Like if we did a full like.
That's too much metagaming.
Yeah,
that's
much.
cheating.
Yeah.
So essentially, we were hired by a dude to go deal with this trade route that had shut down due to this sort of.
That was Caldor, wasn't it?
Was that Caldor?
I think Caldor hired us.
Caldor hired us.
Because Caldor is my brother in game.
Yes.
Because he's from Bear Clan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, so we're in a universe where it's there's like Norse gods and like all these different clans that
essentially Vikings theme.
Very Vikings influence.
Yes.
Like definitely. Yeah, it's just a whole bunch of stuff, but like D&D just like mixed into it.
Yeah. We've gone on our own sort of venture. We haven't followed any of the book stories or anything like that.
Yeah, no, Brody's just made it up.
Yeah, but we're using D&D framework, which is what most people do anyway.
Yeah, that's usually what's happening, unless you have like a specific like, oh, we're gonna play this campaign, and there's a book.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. So essentially, we got hired by Caldor.
Have we ever finished a book?
No.
No.
Oh, we did the beginners thing a few times.
You finished it?
I think so. I think we finished it a couple of times, just to get the how to play the game down.
Yeah. It takes a while.
It does take a little bit,
and like you need to get efficient at it as well.
Yes, you can't just be like, or you need to be ready when your turn is up.
Yeah.
But I think we've got pretty good at it.
Yeah, no, because I noticed it was this like Sunday that it just went smooth. It was just very smooth. Like after we got started, it was just like there was no hiccups in terms of like different things that like would stop us from playing.
Usually, yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I reckon the week before was like that as well. That's why I've had such a good time the last 2 weeks, because once we've started, it's flowed all the way till we've finished.
Yeah, which
and
is
decided
awesome.
to finish, and all the group has got exactly what they wanted, sort of out of the experience. Sort of thing, which has been unreal.
Yeah, and I do because I came in a week after. Yeah, so I came in because you guys had the session 1 or session 0, and because I couldn't make it, and I was like, I really want to play this. And then I was just like, to Brody, I was like, please.
Let me in, please.
Let me in, please. He's like, fine. And then so I proposed his character to him. He's like, yep, cool. Go ahead with that. And I was like, yes. So, yeah. And then I came in the next week, and I was just like, oh, there's so much stuff happening. What is happening? There's just like all this story like
already developed from the first session.
Yeah, I was like, that's insane.
Yeah. So essentially, the story so far has been we've been hired by Caldor to like suss out this trade route that has been shut down. We find the information that there's been this sort of undead uprising in the towns along the trade route, and we've essentially had to go find like. We went to the first town that we'd heard had been sort of ransacked, and we found a few undead sort of what were they called? Wraiths?
No. Shadows,
sort of like undead beings that had access to a portal that they could shift around the map sort of really
That's
easily.
why we destroyed the portal.
Yeah, so
I didn't know that.
That was in the first session, essentially. Destroy that.
Makes sense now.
Yeah. Destroy that portal, and then we've been hanging around camp, and there's been a few sort of like random encounters that have come up that have came up, and we've had to go deal with externally from the main siege mission, which is what the like sort of
so we've had a few side quests, but like we're moving in a forwards position, so we're just like and then we come back in doing all these like side missions. Which I did enjoy, because like I feel like with the normal books, it's kind of just like
it's too linear.
It's too linear, and you're just like, yep, it doesn't feel like you vary from the path very much.
No, it's very much like like a role playing game where it's like you've got the invisible walls, so you can't explore or anything.
Yeah.
It's just like you go down here and you've got to follow these sort of things. The variation of that same path is very minuscule.
Yeah.
The variations where we can go on tangents for like the whole session and be like, all right, we got nothing done on the main story quest.
That was just like a side mission.
Yeah, XP farming.
Yeah, XP. Yeah, and you just go on a side mission, which can sometimes be like just like so fun, just like killing stuff, doing like escaping rooms, going through like a dungeon, and just like getting holy or just a huge amount of loot at the end.
Yeah. Well, the session that we did yesterday, we ended up going to an old Nordic vault that this hero essentially died, and there was a memorial sort of built for him where it housed his weapon, which was the Holy Avenger, and his
Demon
armor, which was demon armor,
which looks badass.
Yeah, it looks so cool.
Looks
so
sick.
We ended up going through like
Who picked up the demon armor?
we put it in the bag of holding. No one has put it on.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think
It's hell cursed, surely.
It's cursed, but I believe there was a voice that Robbie heard when he picked up the Holy Avenger telling him to give it to Maka. Like, give the two items to Maka.
Ooh!
Because
Maka's
he'll be
already
able to
OP
use
though.
it.
He's got the Sunblade or whatever.
Yeah, so...
Not the Sunblade.
Where that goes, who knows?
Yeah.
That's going to be
I've just got
cool.
this giant rock, which is the axe of giant slaying, but we've made it into a maul of giant slaying.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Like,
That was awesome.
we've looted so many items through our side quests, which is going to make the siege so much fun. Like,
Yeah.
the
But I reckon
abilities...
Brody's just going to go all out.
Yeah, he is 100%.
And I'm
We've
just
been
gonna-
like leading up to this for so long now. So Brody's just been... He's scheming. He's a
He's
schemer.
He schemes.
He's
He's
schemes
just got that
away.
evil laugh as well. That you just know.
That cackle, you're like,
You just
oh,
know
no.
you're going to die.
Yep.
And then you get out when he rolls like a 1. You're like, yes.
Or whenever he rolls, because he's got his little like setup that we can't see.
Little dungeon master board.
Dungeon master board. He fucking rolls something, and he's like, and you're like, what do you mean? What did you roll? What does
It's
that
like,
mean?
Crit. You're like, yeah, because that guy almost
or
crit
the
me.
hey, Ewan, roll a d100 for me.
Yeah, that's always a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, oh.
You now have gills.
I was just like, what? Because fucking Ukdug gave me a cursed trident. Asshole.
Caden.
And
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's so fun though. Just the whole role playing part of it as well. I feel like some people don't get into the role playing as much. But that's kind of it's what they want from the experience that they kind of put in.
Yeah.
Because I feel like just role playing in terms of like in D&D, it's just like that's the main part where I enjoy.
Yeah, the like it takes actual time to develop the skill to roleplay, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, because we didn't do much role playing really at the start of when we started playing D&D.
Yeah, because you just kill shit.
Yeah.
You're just a bunch of murder hobos.
Yeah, 100%. We didn't really commit too much to our characters, so then like the campaign that we would do would fall apart because we're just like, all right, bored, next, move on. Because you're not committed enough to the actual development of the character.
Yes. And I feel like that's so important as well.
Yeah.
And because like, if you're not committed to the character, you kind of just like, oh yeah, he's like, he could be like the strongest character, but it would just be like, he just kills stuff for fun.
Yeah. It's nearly like the last session I had the character in my head. If that makes sense. Like, I could visualize the character that I was playing in my head and what that character would be doing and thinking and saying and all that sort of stuff.
And it's cool as well when you get like a decision that Brody gives you and you're like, oh, I know exactly what my character would do right now.
Yeah. And
like, it's not what I would do, but my character would do that.
Yeah.
That was like when Caden like just lightning javelin the frogs.
Peaceful frogs. We were just going through this swamp, trekking through, and Ugdug's just like half orc rage, just like, there's a frog over there.
Yeah, he's just like throwing a giant lightning
Full
javelin.
send.
Even though Macca did well as well, because he was like, no, you don't need to do that, because like Macca's more of like peaceful, because he's paladin, so he's kind of like, if we don't have to fight, we don't have to.
Yeah.
But then Caden is just like,
fight a monk, so he's like, I want to kill shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've found with my character, I'm trying to develop more of a leadership role.
Yeah.
Because, like, at the moment, I'm just, like, a barbarian that's just
pummel shit.
Just pummel shit that, like, someone tells me to do something, I'll do it. But, like, I want to be more in that role.
Where you tell other people to do things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can be more influential. Which I've thought about.
Yes, that's what that character wants.
Yeah.
Rather than what you want for the character
Yeah.
sort of thing. Yeah.
So, in terms of, like, because I'm trying to prove to, like, Caldor and like my dad in game that I'm more than just like a brute force.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. But talking about like thinking about explaining it to other people, it's like
anyone that doesn't play D&D, just this is making no sense to you.
Yeah, 100%. But I enjoy it so much. It's easy to talk about. But I was thinking about like, how would you explain it to someone? And I was like, we've created a
universe,
an
imaginary universe
with fabricated problems that are extremely important to our characters that we've also fabricated.
Yep.
And it's extremely important and requires all of our attention in that moment, and everything else can kind of wait.
Yeah.
But it's completely fabricated, like it's made up.
Yeah, legit though. Like it's just so important, but it's just completely imaginary and just doesn't exist. But to us, at that point in time, that's reality.
Yeah, 100%. And then like I think Robbie said it 2 weeks ago. It's just like that's the magic of D&D, and I'm like, that is 100% it. It's like it feels like more important than
it should be.
But it's also like in that moment, because of the sort of fantasy style of the game, it's sort of high stakes.
Yeah.
So it's high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
So then it makes it feel like it's extremely important. Like compared to maybe a work problem. Something that you have to deal with at work, which you would think would be more important in your life other than things that you fabricate in D&D.
Yeah, legit. Yeah. Like if you're if you got a group of people and you're like planning to like do like storm a castle or something, you got to do so much to like think about what you should do. Like you put all your effort into thinking of a correct way to do this, where like you have the most optimal path to win. Whereas like at work, if someone's like, oh, I didn't order this or blah blah blah, I'm just like, yeah, what do I do?
Roll a d20.
Roll a d20. D20 persuasion.
See if you are successful in helping this person out.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, yeah, manager. There's manager's problem. Legit though, I didn't really think about it like that, but like it's just so fun. So very fun. So fun. And I feel like it's a good like escape as well, just from like reality sometimes.
Yeah, and it's not like a bad escape either. It's
because like you're with your mates, and like you kind of like it's not harmful in any way. No, it's just a good time. Yeah, I'm definitely keen. Hopefully, like with you moving to my place and all the stuff kind of being closer to where we play D&D. Yeah. Hopefully being able to set up some video content on D&D. I reckon would be pretty cool. Yeah, because I reckon that because like I've seen a few people do that and like I've really been interested in it. But like the thing with D&D is like if you want it to be interesting for the viewers, you got to have like personalities.
Yeah, you've got to fully commit to the role playing experience. Like when you're talking as the character, you've got to talk as the character, and then when you're asking questions outside of the character, you got to
be out of it.
Yeah.
Which
it'd be a good challenge.
Brody has definitely improved on that because
Yes.
like when he would go for a character in terms of like an NPC, and he would give him a voice, he would just completely forget it.
Yeah.
And then the next time I talked to him, I was just like, now he's Jamaican.
Yeah.
Now he's like Russian. It's just like, oh, what is happening? But at the moment, he's been doing really well.
Yeah. Well, I think because do you watch the D&D online, like on YouTube?
Yeah, I do some like
what is that
D&D
called?
Beyond.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys like commit to the character. Like I think we're getting to that stage where we'd be able to commit to an accent.
Yeah.
And stick to it and commit to we're getting there. We're very close.
Yeah, I reckon, when we get to that point where we can fully immerse ourselves as a character, like everyone, that'll be like the most entertaining D&D.
Yeah. Well, that's what, if you go and watch any D&D online, that's essentially
that's what happens.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Yeah, and I would be very open to doing D&D content on this channel as well, because like it's just nerding
out hard.
Yeah.
Nerd podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
and it would definitely be like longer sessions.
Yeah.
It would just like cut it down.
Yeah. We could do like encounter videos or something.
Yeah.
Which would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Well, did you want to move on to a little bit more personal stuff like relationships? We're both in a relationship, which we can talk about what we've learned from it. What sort of value and things that it's brought to your life and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm in what's the date? In 4 days, it'll be 6 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Which the last podcast was like, would have been like, because I remember I was just like, yeah, it's the 28th of August. I'm a good boyfriend. And then that's now 4 days away. Yeah. And I need to organize something.
Get your shit together.
I've got an idea, which I might do. I might organize today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because I've got an idea for it. But I'm also working that night, and she's also got uni in the morning, so I'm kind of like, oh boy. But definitely in the relationship, being in a relationship this long, I've learnt to do a lot of I've learnt a lot of things with myself and Tessa.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a lot of stuff. Because I don't know, like having someone that you can rely on in terms of like, just if you want to talk to someone, they're there all the time. Yeah, it's good. Because like I don't know what life would be, say, like without Tessa. Like I wouldn't be able to see that path.
Yeah.
Like the alternate universe.
Yeah.
Because it's just has been my life for like 6 years.
Yeah, and you've essentially like grown up with her.
Yeah, which is weird to think about, but also pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, Granddad and Nana on Mum's side, essentially did something similar. They're a little bit older. I think Nana was 16, Granddad was 19.
Yeah, I don't know.
17 and 19, something like that. And then essentially high school sweethearts, and they grew up and did everything together, sort of thing. Which is incredibly lucky for those types of people that kind of can find fall into that.
Yeah,
you kind of do. You stumble in. I find that you stumble into relationships that are extremely meaningful.
Oh yeah,
and like challenging.
I didn't fully expect to like be dating this long at all. Because I was just like, yeah, why not? And then Like, just because I made that decision,
Your life is now completely different.
yeah, that's insane. Yeah.
Think of the C-137 reality, the fucking alternative one,
Yeah.
where you're just
Just-
single.
Yeah, just single, just not doing anything. Well, I'd probably just be doing the same thing. To
Who
be
knows?
honest. I
Who
don't
knows?
even know.
Yeah, well,
Might
so
even-
I have been single for the last 3 years, and then have just sort of recently so I've been dating Amy for 4 months, 13th of April.
Hey,
So I'm a good boyfriend.
Yeah.
And then
don't forget that
and we
ever.
had our first date on the 9th of February, so even better boyfriend.
Yep.
So we've known each other for about 6 months, dated, like saw each other for 2 months, and then we've just started dating. And through both of our previous experiences with other people in romantic relationships, where we both came into it at the same mindset, like same sort of like frequency. I don't know how to explain it, but just our mentality towards life was the same.
That's good. Yeah.
Where through dealing with other people,
Mm.
we both had consciously made the decision within ourselves to commit to ourselves, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Where instead of what some people do after they break up from a relationship is that they then chase for another one. Like,
Yeah. Straight
that
away.
one didn't work. There was whatever happened to kind of cover up that pain. I'm just gonna find something new.
Yeah.
And it, while I was single and over the course of the last 3 years, I didn't want to do that.
Mm.
Just if there was someone there that was interested in me, I wouldn't go necessarily looking too hard. It would just be have faith in how life unfolds to just sort of stumble into the right thing at the right time, which
I feel like I did super early, which
Yeah.
I don't complain about, but like, that's extremely lucky.
yeah. I'm extremely lucky and grateful for all of my experiences with others, like learning with others, because I've changed my mindset of how people come into your life and how people come out of your life, where it's
Mhm.
like they're lessons essentially.
Yeah.
They're
That- yeah. that's a
they're
good way
there
put that.
to show you a lesson about yourself,
Mm.
not necessarily a lesson about them.
Yeah. That's
You learn more about yourself with engaging with other people
Yeah.
than you do not.
Yeah. Yeah, which is fair.
Yeah. So, like, my previous relationship, there was it kind of fell apart because I lost myself within it. Like, the classic, you lose yourself in a relationship that's like high intensity, like high flames. There was a lot of passion, a lot of emotion,
Yeah.
and then you kind of, depending on your demeanor and all that sort of stuff, you can either like lose yourself or just like disconnect and then find yourself in a situation that you don't want to be in, and then you
And then
subconsciously do things to get yourself out of that situation rather than being honest with yourself and then confronting with whatever is happening moment to moment sort of thing. But through that experience, I learned like an incredible amount, and then
that's good.
coming out of it, like, my mental health was a little bit meh, and then making the decision to work on myself, and then my mental health sort of like instantly improved in that regard, because then I was like, well, I need to treat myself, classic Jordan Peterson thing, treat myself like someone that you're caring for. Like,
Oh, okay. Yeah. I
like,
gotcha. Yeah.
what you would do more for someone else essentially
Than you would yourself.
exactly.
If you
like,
view-
if you the thing that he uses is a psychological statistic where people are more likely to feed their dog a prescription of medication, and they're like half as likely to take a prescription themselves and stick to it.
Wow.
Which is like bizarre when you hear it. You're just like, why don't people take care of themselves? They're very happy to take care of everyone else other than themselves.
Yeah.
Which is the complete opposite of what you should be doing.
Yeah, in terms of your mental health.
Yeah, and then there's another great sort of like nugget of knowledge where it's like, you can only give others what you've given to yourself. Sort of like,
Okay. Oh boy.
you can only help others. Are you going to sneeze?
Yeah.
You can only help others how much you've helped yourself.
Yeah.
Like, my mental health is pretty good as of right now, but that's because I took 3 years helping myself to get to this point. And that stability doesn't necessarily fluctuate because I still continue to do that work for myself.
That's good. That's good.
And caring for myself, so then I have the energy and the stability to then care for others.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Cause with my relationship, if we've ever had, say, like a problem or something, I wouldn't say, like, I would come from like a different standpoint and being like, it's not a you problem, it's an us problem that we need to fix together.
Yeah.
And we need to work together. Cause like, say if we disagreed on something, and like I would argue my point, she would argue her point, and they would just clash, and I'd be like, let's take it like we would do that. It would be like an hour later.
Yeah, we'd get nowhere.
Yeah, get nowhere. An hour later, I'd be like, all right, so I'm sorry, and then she would say like, I'm sorry, and then we would work it out. It's just like some people just
constantly clash.
Yeah,
and they're not willing to take that step back from their emotions and then go, hey, look, I really care for this situation and I want to preserve it.
Yeah, let's
do it together.
Yeah. So I feel like majority of people don't do that. No.
Yeah, like that's the mindset that both me and Amy have had as well.
That's good to hear.
Where if there's something that we've sort of rubbed up against each other, like friction causes conflict. If we've done that, we're very quick in taking that step back. And we're completely aware of it as we're doing it as well. So it makes it so much easier to be able to shift that behavior.
Yeah.
Because it's previous ingrained behavior from relationships that you've been in. But yeah, so we both sort of look at it the same thing, where it's a we problem. We got to have a look at it together and sort it out together, rather than it's a you versus them problem.
Yeah, and I reckon that's probably like a key part.
That's like 90% of why most people fight.
Yeah.
And then I said to her as well, the only reason people fight is because they're not willing to change.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm willing to change moment to moment all the time.
Yeah.
And she's the same as well.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty good. Yeah, what else?
Has there been anything sort of like profound that has hit you from being with someone for that long that you can remember?
It's gone by like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm already thinking about that now, and I'm only 4 months in with Amy. I'm like, we've already created so many memories together, and you're like, and it feels like a long time, but it also feels like it's not.
Yeah. Like you know, oh yeah. Like a year is this many, a year is this many. I'm just like, so say I'm 20.
How much of a proportion of your life has been with Tess?
Yeah, it's just like,
it's a lot.
And like, cause every time that it comes like
it's like 1/3 essentially, just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little. Yeah. So if you think like when I thought about it, like every time it gets to like our anniversary, I'm like, that year just like flew, and like I feel like if I was in like a relationship I didn't want to be in, it would drag, and I wouldn't want to do it, and I just wouldn't look forward to like the same time like every year. Yeah. So which is weird, because like I wouldn't say like I'm a very committed person in terms of like I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna stay committed to it, because like
that changes moment to moment for people. And
like I would say I find it a little bit, though then again I'm very committed to like karate and volleyball. That's like
well, it's so much easier to commit to things that you're passionate about.
Exactly.
Like I wrote down this in one of my like fundamental beliefs, that I think passion provides energy.
Yeah.
Like it's not necessarily you're eating more food, so you get more energy. It's energy for like you as a person, like your soul.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see that, because like if you are passionate about something, you're gonna put more energy towards it.
Yeah,
that's
just
like
what
that's like
that's
D&D
just how
as well.
it is.
It's like D&D, like coming back from that, like if you're passionate about it, you're gonna put your 100% into it.
Yeah.
But like say at work, if you say like you can be passionate about work, but like you're not gonna be passionate about it 100% of the time.
It's very hard. Say if you've got a service job, it's very hard to rock up with that energy every single day. People do it, and that's like
I do
100%.
I do it as much as I can, but then sometimes like if like I come into work and then someone just like yells at me, and I'm just like
sick.
Cool. Love that.
Love that for me.
Yeah, and then I'm just like in an average mood. And then people are just like, oh, you're right.
What's up with you? And you're like, I just got fucking yelled at.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I know I can't be happy 100% of the time, but like Hannah, like my boss, she loved that, like about me, that I'd be happy like as much as I could at work.
Yeah. Well, that was whenever I was in the service industry. That's sort of my mentality, is that I would want to bring 100% at least, if not 110% every time I rock up to a shift, because you have to be that extra bit more energetic to provide someone with the experience that they're after.
Yeah.
People go out to enjoy food and drink at a pub for an experience.
Yeah.
So if you're not providing their expected experience, they're going to be mad.
Yeah, they're going to be mad, and that happens.
Yeah, and that happens a lot because, you can't have faith in people to have the correct expectations when going into an Irish pub that's been there for 40 years.
Yeah.
No, that's wrong. It would be like 50 years now. It'd be like...
Yeah, because
it's
an
old pub.
Yeah, it's an old pub.
It's got character, though. It's good.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I worked there for 8 years, I think. 7 or 8 years. I can't remember the mask exactly, but something like that.
Yeah.
It's a good pub
because
to grow up in. I think,
it was
in working, because it instilled in me, because I had 2 Irish head chefs, and they instilled in me the work ethic that I have, plus also working dishy days on St. Paddy's Day. At an Irish pub. Not a fun time.
No, it's not, because you're just but I was thankful. So funny thing, I will like never get a day off for my birthday because I'm born on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
And I work at an Irish pub, so that's fun. So I've worked every day, every time. Every birthday.
Besides one? Was it the first one that you missed because you weren't old enough to do the work?
Yeah, because that was just when I became a grunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd only been doing it for a few months, and St. Paddy's Day is not for someone who's only been working for a few months.
No. Yeah, no. Legit, though. And then, like, the next one, I would just, like, pick up, like, cups, glasses, that sort of thing.
Yep.
Next one, same thing. And then I got into the bar, and I was like, this is so much more hectic.
Oh, yeah. It's just like, the few times that I worked behind the bar on St. Paddy's Day, it was just 8 to 12 hours of pouring Kilkenny and Guinness.
Yeah. And even the occasional Magners.
Yeah. And you just like, constantly.
It's fun time. Sometimes it's fun because like you get a few like Irish guys that are just like throwing shit at you.
Yeah, throwing banter at you and stuff, which makes it enjoyable.
Yeah.
But like the good thing about hospitality is that you can kind of, depending on how busy it is, you can find your flow. Like everything sort of like blurs out. You don't necessarily think about anything else other than what you're doing.
Yeah. Where
other jobs, they don't necessarily grant you that.
Yeah, definitely.
Like especially being a barista, you can get into that zone very easily if you know what you're doing.
And like when you get in that zone as well, time just like
just flies.
Yeah.
Half-hour shift, like a 3-hour shift turns into like a half-hour shift.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah. If you're on in the busy point, you just like rock up, get smashed, think it went really quickly, and then go home and rest.
Yeah. And like, so I enjoy my job a lot because like before, like probably like a year ago, I was pretty like, I was not the best at my job, but that's because I was new. And, like, I'd never done like anything else. Like, I just grunted, like, and then worked in a bar. So, but like now I've gotten to the point where I've become like quite good at my job.
Yeah.
So I'm finding it enjoyable because like it's easy and I can just do stuff
without thinking.
Yeah. And it's just like, oh yeah, like we got a new cocktail list in.
Come get some cocktails.
And I've just been like, oh, okay. The fact that I can now remember new cocktails, like, after making like one or two, it's just like, wow,
this is so much easier than having to go to the book every single time. Yeah. When I got to that stage, it was very fun making cocktails because it was just like, yep, boop, boop, boop.
Yeah, and then you make it look hella nice, and they're like, I want one of them. Like,
that's when you know you're doing a really good job as the cocktail thing. Is as soon as the first one goes out, and then you've just got a list of orders. That's when you know you've done a good job.
Yeah.
Because then it looks incredible. Someone's seen it and gone, I want a fucking cocktail.
I want one of them.
Yeah. It happens with espresso martinis all the time. When I was making them, it was just like, as soon as the first one goes out, because it's such a distinct smell. As soon as the first one goes out, all the ladies are like, espresso. I will have one of them, please.
One of them. Oh, that looks nice. One of them.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty good. I reckon we should pack it up.
Yeah, wrap it up. I don't know how long it's been.
Yeah, neither.
Oh well, it doesn't really matter. Yeah.
Camera's not dead.
Yeah, camera's not dead because we charged it. We're actually improving on our recording setup and process and all that sort of stuff. Becoming more efficient, more effective.
Yeah.
That's the main thing anyway.
All right. Well.
All right.
That's the end. Like, subscribe.
Yes.
Ring-a-ding the bell.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
Press notifications. All. What else? That sounds about
Comment what you guys think we should do next, or talk about next, or explore next.
That's a good one. Yeah, do that.
Yeah, do that. Thanks, guys.
Thank you
for watching. See ya. Pushy? Come on. Yeah, good boy. Good boy. Goody boy. Good boy.
Are we gonna clap sing?
Yeah. Look at your teethies. Is that zoomed in enough, you reckon?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, you don't want to be like, hey. Clap sync.
Fuck, that was loud. I was just like, ring-a-ding-ding in my ears.